Good morning and welcome to the May monthly briefing. In honors of Star Wars Day, may the 4th be with you. I'm Thomas Deere. I'm the Vice President of Sales Engagement at the Chamber, and I have the privilege of being your host. A big thank you to each of you for joining us today, and thank you for your partnership. These sessions are designed to provide you with information, solutions, and connections needed to make and keep your businesses thriving. Today, you've all joined in listen-only mode with your microphones and cameras muted, but I do encourage you to ask questions throughout the program using the Zoom's chat box. And this is very interactive. Please ask us questions. I want to thank our media sponsor, Humana, for their continued support of our monthly member briefings. I've had the privilege of talking to the panelists today, and we have an outstanding lineup, and I know that you're going to enjoy it today. It's my pleasure to welcome Brendan Cull, the President and CEO-elect of the Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber. Brendan, take it away.
Thank you, Thomas. Good to see you this morning. I appreciate everything you're doing, and thank you all for being here this morning on our monthly member briefing. I'm excited to see all of you. I'm excited to hear Jill's, what we had called her farewell address or keynote speech to the monthly member briefing. It's going to be a great morning. It's a beautiful morning here in our region, and so I'm just glad to be with all of you today. I leave for vacation in 2 hours, so I'm especially chipper this morning and am very excited to get this day going. A couple of things just before we get going into hear from our keynote, Jill, today. I want to draw your attention to something that we've been working on with in close collaboration with other civic groups in the city, particularly 3CDC, the city and the county, and Visit Cincinnati. And that is the major progress that's happening on our convention center hotel, headquarters hotel, and the convention center expansion. I should also mention the port of Cincinnati as well, too. Many of you know that the Millennium Hotel went away. That's the polite way of talking about it. It went away last year. And our region, our downtown Cincinnati, needs a new headquarters hotel. And so thanks to the leadership of Steve Leeper at 3CDC and the partnership with our organization and other organizations in town, we've continued to push for getting that project done. There was some great news in the paper this week about how the financing plan has come together. You saw renderings of what the new hotel was going to look like. These are big bets that our community is making about the future. They drive tourism, they drive economic growth in our downtown and in our economic core. They bring new people to Cincinnati, and as a lot of folks say, someone moving to Cincinnati, it usually starts with a visit. And so if they come here for a convention, or they come here and stay in one of our hotels, or they come here for an event like Blink, they have a tremendous time, and then they want to stay here. And so I wanted to talk about that a little bit because there's some great news about it in the newspaper and in the media this week, and it's moving forward. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about how important that is to the growth of our community. There's also some other things happening too in the media that I would draw your attention to. Bon Appetit did a great piece on Cincinnati's food scene. I feel like we hear a lot about food scenes in communities, and every community has a good food scene. It's just not true. Ours is better. And so if you go read this article on Bon Appetit, you'll see a little bit about how things are growing here. We have new restaurants opening up. One of the restaurants in Over the Rhine continuously is getting mentioned as a restaurant called Nalia, which is a African-American owned business in Over the Rhine. It started really in the midst of the pandemic, and it started in part because we were the vision of its owner, but we were able to give a grant in partnership with the Johnson Foundation to help that business get started. It was nominated for a James Beard Award just this last year. Tremendous new cultural vibrancy that's happening in our community as well, too. Speaking of that, the Asian Food Fest was this past weekend. If you didn't come down and see just an amazing group of people on Court Street, 60 restaurants, I think 60 booths of restaurants and food and beer and drinks that we had down there. It was amazing. A beautiful scene in Cincinnati, really showcasing everything that's going on in our community. Just around the corner is Taste of Cincinnati on Memorial Day weekend. As it always is, we released a list of restaurants and food vendors and Findlay Market Alley folks, and I think you'll have a wonderful time at Taste this weekend. Finally, last chance for We Lead in Leadership Cincinnati, due May 17th. Please get your applications in if you're interested. I want to welcome to our team Chelsea Brown York, our new Vice President of Experiences and Events. She was on the ground on, I think, day 7 at Asian Food Fest, getting things going. Her and our team of Rob and Tim, and also a big shout out to Brad on our marketing team and our finance team, who has helped count cash for years and years at all of our events, and they are counting less cash now because we are taking credit cards, and it's going great. So when you're at Taste of Cincinnati, bring your credit cards. I'm mentioning that because that was one of Jill Meyer's most important initiatives at the Chamber, was getting our events to start to accept credit cards. And I'm glad that we were able to make some progress on that. And that's a good segue into our keynote speaker for today. Our keynote is our current CEO at the Cincinnati Chamber. Jill Meyer is a former managing partner at Frost Brown Todd. She joined the Chamber in late 2015 to lead this organization. She's been on the boards of most of every important organization in our region, helping to lead and grow our community. She has been the president of the Brent Spence Bridge Coalition, the Build Our New Bridge Now Coalition, and really has been the one key leader in our community over the last decade, who has pushed this project forward and got us to the point where, as we have been talking about, we are going to put shovels in the ground before the end of this year. She is also the person who texted me 7.5 years ago and asked me to join her on an adventure. And what an adventure it has been. In her time at the Chamber in the last 7.5 years, she has climbed to the tops of buildings and giant rainbows, quite literally. She's built bridges and roads. She's grown businesses. She's inspired talent. People literally have moved here because of her. She's shown us how to be calm, fierce, funny, and strategic. This community, in many ways, has looked to Jill because they trust her and they can sense her vision for our future city. Now, as Jill winds down her time, if you know Jill, you know that there's a lot of champagne being poured. If you know Jill, you know she loves a good glass of champagne. Champagne, as you might know, was the product of disaster. You see, when the people in France were trying to copy great wine, they were in a colder climate and they started fermenting bottles of wine in cellars where the cold would suspend fermentation. So in the colder weather, the fermenting would stop, and then as spring came around, it got warm again, and fermentation would start, and it would lead to the buildup of gases, bubbles, in the wine. But in those days, the bottles of wine were not as strong, and so what it led to was cellars full of bottles of exploding wine. You can imagine this, just bottles exploding in wine cellars all over the place. Wasted product, dangerous circumstances, and the remains were ruined wine with bubbles. It took someone, maybe more than someone, but it took someone possessing of two critical traits of a leader, resilience and optimism, to discover that exploding bottles of wine would change a palate, deliver joy to millions of people, and create the drink that we use to celebrate the future each year. I don't know if that origin story is why Jill loves champagne. I suspect it's not, but it would make sense. After all, she's truly one of the most resilient and optimistic leaders that I have ever encountered. And I think I can speak for our team when I say that all of us feel the same way. In a previous life, I can see Jill Meyer seeing exploding bottles of wine in a cellar, laughing at the comedy of it all, dodging glass, and finding one bottle not yet exploded and thinking, let me give this a try. And then having the courage to sell it to millions as a treat that would bring them joy in the future. The legend is that when Dom Perignon said, when he first tasted champagne, "Come, for I am drinking stars." So Jill, for you, we hope for many stars in your future, many bottles of champagne, and much success. And let me turn it over to you so that you can give our keynote address this morning.
Thank you, Brendan. There could not be a better way to start any day than talking about champagne and a champagne science and history lesson right around with it. And heck, to be compared to champagne, I'll take it. That's brilliant. That, my friends, is an example of the brilliance of Brendan Cull in his writing skills, his thoughtfulness, his humor, and really just his ability to take a unique look at everything that he does. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. I am delighted to get to be, I guess I'm turning the tables a little bit, or the team is turning the tables a little bit on me today, to put me in the speaker seat instead of the one asking the question seat. And what a fun thing to get to do, especially when I have just a week left. I will say it's as I sit and think about it, and as Brendan was talking, it's poetic in some major regard that one of my last acts, if not my last act, as the Chamber CEO is to address our members directly. The reason I say that is because you all are the reason that I came to this job. As Brendan said, I was a partner at a law firm serving on the Chamber's board along with some others when I walked away from that, because I believed in the power of Cincinnati to be driven through businesses and organizations to get us to that next level. So I think it's super fitting for me personally that I get to say goodbye in virtual person. I was going to say in person, but virtual person counts too, just before I walk out the doors. So thank you for taking your time to be here with us this morning. And Brendan, thank you again for your really great introduction. So those of you who know me know that I can talk all day long about the Chamber, about what a great team we have, and frankly, about how awesome Cincinnati's momentum is and how much there is left to do. And I will do that. But Thomas said this earlier, I really want your questions. And this is a lot more fun for everybody if it's interactive. So please put in questions. I will put you, Brendan, on the spot, if I may, to interrupt me if there are some questions that folks want to know while I'm going. I would rather do that than do Q&A at the end of a monologue from me. And you would rather hear that as well. So ask your questions. Let's just keep this light and fun and a good discussion to make sure that what you want to know from me is what I share with you. So as Brendan said, I came here in late 2015. And I don't know about you, but 2015 seems so long ago to me. There has been a lot of life that has happened between 2015 and now. But I want to give a little context, because when I came to the Chamber after a 20-year career in the legal field, I think the Chamber team at the time was scratching their heads a little bit, thinking, what exactly is she here to do? And I told all of them on my first hour in the Chamber, we gathered together and I shared with them, for those of you who are wondering what the heck is a lawyer doing standing here telling us that she's going to lead the charge of the Chamber, I want you to understand that I've spent the first 20 years of my professional career providing legal services to businesses to help them grow. And while I'm no longer going to be providing legal services, I am joining you because we are a professional services firm with the purpose of helping our businesses grow. And that is what has set the tone for me as I started. And it's really what has driven me through this past 7.5 years of looking at how our region grows is only the way our businesses grow, and vice versa. So we have this chicken and egg, or a cycle of one is feeding the other. But as we have said at the Chamber, our mission is to drive the vibrancy and the economic prosperity of our region. And one of those feeds the other in a continuous loop. And that only happens with strong employment places for people to work. I hope you've seen that that's been the driver in all that we've done. Of course, great organizations and companies are not inanimate objects. They are the humans who run them and make them happen. And so what you have seen over the past years is that the Chamber has been so focused on making Cincinnati and celebrating Cincinnati as a place where people want to be, where they want to be here. They want to build a career here, and they can build a successful, thriving career. And in their home and personal and family time, they're just in a really cool place with, as Brendan mentioned earlier, great restaurants, great cultural opportunities, so many things for all of us to do. And that has been a big driver. So anybody who knows me knows that I have always believed in the power of this city, the potential of the city, and that it needed to be taken by storm by the people who call it home, no matter for how long you call it home. If you're a lifer like I am, or someone who is new to the community, really leaning in and owning it has been the driver. And so you can imagine somebody who is positioned that way, wired that way as I am, getting to this opportunity that I've had to help build a better Cincinnati community has been really a true gift to me. So many things that I'm proud of that this team has done over the past 7.5 years and longer. And I've decided to share some of those things, but in the context of what I've learned from my colleagues, from our board, from our community partners, and frankly, from all of you, all important members, for whom, and frankly, without whom we wouldn't even exist. So what I'm going to do is break this down into some learnings and then talk a little bit about some of what I think are really cool, also critically important things that have happened at the Chamber over the past few years. So my first learning is saying yes to big ideas really does change the world. How fitting that Brendan started with talking about champagne. Talk about a big idea, and it indeed changed the world. One little champagne cave has now been around the world multiple times over. Why do I say that in the context of our work at the Chamber? I could pick a zillion examples, but maybe what I'll do is start at the beginning. When I came to the Chamber, I think that I can say with fairness that people were a little unsure of what was happening in this community, maybe willing to be bullish, but just as many people who were saying, I don't know, it's Cincinnati. And what we did to start things off was turned that on its head. And with our board's backing and support and input from our members, we declared that we were going to transform Cincinnati into the hottest city in America. And people thought we were crazy. We were not crazy. You lean in on a big, bold vision. And if you lean into it with not just hopes, but also with some plans and some backing, big things do start happening. And I hope you're all inventorying some of those things that have in fact happened over the past 5-10 years. Not all of them were driven by the Chamber, though we've done a lot of big things. But there are some big things that have happened in our community, and I think it's a result of all of us collectively adopting a bold vision and supporting each other to do it. And so if one can do it, so can someone else. So empowering all of us to build the hottest city in America. I'll point out just a couple of examples at the Chamber that are near and dear to my heart. All of you know our Minority Business Accelerator. The work that Darren has done to build that to the, I said to him coming in, I want to see the MBA 2.0. Darren has built at least the 3.0, if not moving on to the 4.0 with the fund that he's raising, Fund 1. Huge things happening there. Across the country, people are looking at Cincinnati and what is happening with our minority business efforts. And that is so critically important to everything going forward. I'll also point out our Workforce Innovation Center, which takes a look at companies and how they are conducting their business as far as their employees can see, and helping our businesses lean in to make themselves an employer of choice so that they are able to employ a greater, wider variety of people and help more people reach financial self-sustainability. So a couple of big ideas that I'll share, that I've shared. I hope that you're thinking through some in your own head right now. Learning number 2 is closely connected with it, but a little bit different and really important. And that is this: passionate enthusiasm is not just contagious. It is productive and it is strategic. Think about that. Some people will say enthusiasm is contagious. It's not just contagious. It's a strategic way to go about building. And the reason is because it's authentic. I think everybody knows that what strikes an emotional chord with people generally, or with one person, what strikes the emotional chord is what wins. And all the better when what strikes an emotional chord is exactly the answer we were searching for our work, for economics. When you can bring those pieces together, what a really unique and really wonderful, in the true sense of wonder, a wonderful opportunity. I'm going to give you an example that I bet you will all have your own story to match. We've been wanting to tell our unique story to the world. That predated me for sure at the Chamber. It was the meeting I had before I even started my job at the Chamber, after I had accepted, was a meeting with some of our partner organizational colleagues saying, how can we do better at telling Cincinnati's story and getting people outside and inside of our own community to see how much opportunity there is here. We're innovative. You know, we have businesses that created innovation. We have creative businesses. We have arts that matches, you know, no other rivals for us. Our businesses, of course, hugely diverse and complex set of opportunities for folks. Our architecture, it's a beautiful city. We know that's important to people. How do we tell that story? And then along came, you're all answering it right now, Blink. Yes, it was all of those things for us, and quite frankly, took us a little bit by surprise because we were in get it done mode. We knew it was cool. We knew there were some fun things we wanted to do, but I would think I can say that never in our wildest dreams did we imagine that that event in 2017 would bring our entire community and then some together to celebrate not just what they found here in Cincinnati on the buildings and the art that was shown, which we all know is and was phenomenal. What it really shined a light on was the people in this community and how all walks of life came together, not just standing shoulder by shoulder, but communicating, sharing experiences, giving each other tips and pushing them forward. And guess what? In the meantime, the rest of the world is now looking at Cincinnati through the lens of Blink and understanding what a phenomenal and unique opportunity Cincinnati and the entire region provides for businesses and for people. I could say similar things about Taste of Cincinnati, which tells people so much about our food scene, about Oktoberfest. Biggest outside of Munich. It tells you something about this community and how we've built, and the new businesses are, our microbrews are leading the pack again. That's significant. Our Asian Food Fest that just happened, maybe 20, 30 years ago, who would have dreamed that we would have an Asian Food Fest of the scale that we have? One last note before I move on to wrap up with just a couple more. Remember COVID. I know none of us want to remember COVID. I hope that you remember that one of the positive notes during COVID was our team at the Chamber dreamed up, how will we keep Oktoberfest alive? And let's admit that we needed Oktoberfest to happen for all kinds of business reasons and legal reasons, trademarks, and all of those things that we think about. But our team came up with Oktoberfest in the house because people weren't allowed to come together. And we thought it would be some people would engage. We had people engaging from across the country. Again, telling our story in a way that took us a little bit by surprise. We knew that the community needed a morale boost and a reminder that we are all still Cincinnatians. We did not anticipate that people across the country would become Cincinnatians by extension. A couple of other that Blink really stands out for me on this one as well. The third learning, we are capable of so much more when we join forces. What runs through everything that's been hugely successful for the Chamber is when we've done it together with partners, with government officials, with schools, with artists, frankly, with critics, with some people who didn't agree with us, with our neighbors, with strangers, people who raised their hands to say, yes, this is important and please, can I help? The best example for this, though there are plenty, is Hamilton County Issue 3, which was the sales tax levy that was passed during COVID My colleague Pete Metz, I'm sure, still wakes up in the middle of the night saying, "What do you mean you're moving election day?" That happened in a big way, that every day we are seeing the results of that investment in the work and the opportunity that the Sorta Metro system is providing to people across our community. That only happened because we were able to convene partners literally from every corner of this community, from government to people to businesses. That's how that got done. The last thing I'll say for a learning before I close out is, with reason to believe, and that's important, but with reason to believe, people are way more capable than even the most proud of them thinks that they are. You all have your own stories about this from COVID. What I would say is, what I learned from our team and from our business community during COVID is that the belief in pushing through something can carry not just a team, but an entire community forward. It was a painful time, but the team at the Chamber, like so many of you, rolled out focus like I've never seen before. Hard work, grueling hours, channeling energy, frankly, that I'm sure was driven by the fear we were all feeling at the time. And they turned it into goodness and opportunity and strength and power. And I saw it on our team and how they showed up and performed. But I also saw it in the Restart Task Force that we convened with business leaders and community partners throughout the community. People in Cincinnati, I tell you this, I say it all the time and I'll underscore it. People in Cincinnati, and most especially our business leaders, are truly the best people on the planet. I have learned in my time here at the Chamber that across the country, Cincinnati's business leaders do stand out. There are not other cities where business leaders both raise their hands to do the work and invest with the financial resources to support it. We hear this all of the time. I hope that you read about it all of the time in our Realm CEO magazine. One of the drivers of that is to keep all of our business leaders connected. So if you're not reading Realm, do that. You will see in its pages every quarter the wonderful, wonderful people that drive this community. One quick note as I close out, I've said it, but to Brendan and my colleagues at the Chamber, while the people in Cincinnati and business leaders are the best, this team is really a step above. I can tell you so many things that they've done that you don't see. You see an awful lot of what they do, bringing this together, the festivals, the data, the workforce, the government relations, so many importantly and just critical things that need to happen for this community. So a huge thank you to the team at the Chamber. I tell you all, you are incredibly fortunate. We are incredibly fortunate to have the team of people who are at the Chamber, committed to the growth and the economic prosperity in this region. I put the talent up against any business in town. They are great people. One person gets an extra shout. You all know her by the name Laurette. We tease Laurette that she doesn't need a last name. She's like Madonna or take your pick. But Laurette is truly a special human. She does so much for the team. She's been my partner, but she does so much for the Chamber team, for board members, for every aspect of our work. So if the next time you see Laurette, give her a high five because she always deserves it. But I'm truly grateful for having been given this opportunity. As I said, this job has been a lot of fun. I underscore a lot. It's hard. It's high energy. It is always, always, always and everywhere. And I have come to learn in a whole different way that it is critically important to this region that we continue to keep this chamber a strong chamber so that we can keep that engine of economic prosperity really driving forward with everything that we do. That happens with you all showing up. So I think I'll end with an ask. Keep showing up, keep caring, keep owning something that does make us the hottest city. the work isn't all for the chamber to create. The chamber does the work that you all lean in and help make happen. I want to say thank you for investing in us, for supporting me in my time here and this team, but really for believing in this future city, which we know is going to happen. I know it's going to happen because I know the people driving it, and I know that there are so many good things that are still to come that will make this future city the one that goes even beyond Blink, with people saying that is cool and I need to be there. Brendan.
Jill, you got a few questions here.
All right, let's jump into them quickly. I was just going to tell you, you know, I'm still your biggest supporter. So congratulations, and let's fire away at the questions.
All right, thanks. All right, someone says, what's been, you listed a lot of them, but is there one that you are most proud of? One of the projects that you led at the chamber that you're most proud of?
Oh gosh, there really isn't.
It's really hard to do that.
Yeah, it's
which of your favorite children?
I was going to say, it's like asking which is your favorite children. Here's what I would say. There isn't one that I'm most proud of, but there are some that I think we knew were really heavy lifts, and the community and the support of getting them done it came through, and I'll tick them off. You did hear them. One is the Minority Business Accelerator and the fund that Darren and team are driving. 2 would be all of our work around transportation, getting that issue 3 passed. And 3 would be Blink. That's game changing. But there's plenty of other that I'm equally as proud of.
Kurt Reiber, who we all know and love, says best of luck on your next chapter, and thanks you for the focus of your work on the Free Store Food Bank, which Kurt runs and has run so well for so many years.
Thank you, Kurt.
And you know, at least 10 years, Kurt, because we were in Leadership Cincinnati together 10 years ago. He says you've worked on behalf of families that they serve to make sure that we don't leave these families behind as we expand our economic vibrancy. How do we continue to engage the business community on an ongoing basis so we don't lose this focus?
We work with the Workforce Innovation Center at the Cincinnati Chamber, which is helping businesses lean in for exactly that purpose, Kurt, to figure out what practices, policies, and things businesses can do a little bit differently to help more people reach financial self-sustainability.
Great. Our dear friend Noor Esekali asks, has your definition of a future city shifted over the years?
I don't think that
Noor.
it has.
Hi, Noor.
Yeah, hi, Noor. I don't think it's shifted. I think about the vision of the future city, which came from the manifesto of Blink, and no, that city that I can still see is the one I've been dreaming of since then.
Bao, who works with us on Asian Food Fest, says thank you for partnering with Asian Food Fest to support the Asian community over the last 7 years. We've partnered on food. What other opportunities can we and others leverage each group's strength?
Well, that is a great question, and I'll answer it 2 ways. One, raise your hand. The chamber is always looking for partners, volunteers, committee members, people with ideas. Always raise your hand and say it out loud. For too long, people had ideas that they kept to themselves and said, I wish we would, or why doesn't somebody? Raise your hand and do it. And the other one is be relentless about bringing other people along with you. That's how we get big things done. The more people who own it, the more get it done.
Beth asks if you have a favorite festival moment.
Favorite festival moment? Because again, there are so many of those as well. Maybe this was a good one. We were tapping the keg with Jim Cook, who, by the way, Jim Cook moments are always everybody's favorite moments. The CEO, founder of Samuel Adams. He asked, he was here to tap the keg and asked if Senator Rob Portman could come on stage, and we told him that we're not allowed because it was an election season and we weren't allowed to have any candidates on stage. And Jim said, okay. And he went up on stage with me. When it was his turn to take the mic, he welcomed everybody and promptly welcomed his best friend, Senator Rob Portman, to the stage, which is why everybody loves Jim Cook.
If you're
So
Jim
that was
Cook.
a fun one, but there are plenty.
Okay, last one, and it's from an anonymous attendee. It says, but I suspect it's everybody, which is what's next for Jill?
I'm working on that. People don't believe me when I say this. By design, Brendan knows this already. This CEO of the chamber is not a job where you can be out looking for your next gig. It just doesn't work. So I told our board that I would stay focused on the business of the chamber until I was not anymore. And so I am moving into a phase where I will be taking a little bit of time off. And during that time, I will be finding my next spot. But my plan and hope and desire is that it's right here in Cincinnati, where I have been and will continue to be.
The follow-up on that question, by the way, was will you stay engaged at the chamber?
Absolutely. I may become one of those people that Brendan's going to say at some point. She left this job. Please make her go away now.
I will not say that.
Too much work to do.
Damn right. I'm glad you will. This has been a ton of fun. To everybody listening, thank you so much for being here. Jill, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think if you could hear us, we're all clapping for you. We'll celebrate you many times, I know, in the coming days, but thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.
Thomas, back to you.
Great, Jill. I want to take a moment and express my heartfelt thanks for everything you've done for us as a leader, as our leader. We'll miss your leadership. We'll miss your guidance and your wisdom. And whether it's soccer coach or whatever your next chapter in life is, may it be filled with joy, happiness, and fulfillment. So thank you for everything, and thank you for being our keynote today. Okay, switching gears, it's my pleasure to introduce a member that's been making a huge impact in our community. Today, we'll visit with Siobhan Taylor, the president and CEO of DePaul Cristo Rey. DePaul Cristo Rey is a college preparatory high school that combines a rigorous academic program with work-study programs to provide students with real-world job experience. Under Siobhan's leadership, DePaul Cristo Rey has seen a significant growth and success, including increased enrollment, improved academic outcomes, and expanded partnership with local businesses such as yourselves and organizations. Siobhan, welcome, and tell us more about all the great things happening at DePaul Cristo Rey.
Thank you, Thomas, and good morning to everyone. I want to first just begin by saying thank you to Jill and to Brendan, and again to Thomas for allowing DePaul Cristo Rey to be this morning's member spotlight. I'm so excited to be with you and to share a little bit of my heart with you, which is the DePaul Cristo Rey High School mission. We at DePaul Cristo Rey take high school to a higher standard. We're focused on making sure that students from limited means financial backgrounds have the opportunity to be whatever they want to be and to conquer the world in ways that no one in their family or in other places in society would imagine. If you would turn to the first slide, please. So one of the unique things about DePaul Cristo Rey is that we have a national model. We are part of a network of 40 Cristo Rey schools across the nation. Each Cristo Rey school is focused on providing college preparatory and a work study experience for the students that are entrusted within their community. The bread and butter of who we are as a school is our corporate work study program. And in our corporate work study program, our students work in a 4-person job sharing team where they fill the equivalent of 1 FTE position. Our students work 5 days a month at a corporate or nonprofit client throughout the academic year, focused on helping you as business owners get the work done that you need to get done. What that actually creates for us here in the city of Cincinnati is what we call a powerful pipeline of students who will become your future minority men and women and employees working to advance your organizations. The purpose of DePaul Cristo Rey is quite simple. We are in business to ignite dreams and fuel potential, but our mission is one that is incredibly important to who we are as a school, but most importantly, who we are to our students. We as a school take a different take on how we engage with students. We meet students where they are. Our goal is to guide them to become both high school and college graduates who flourish. And one thing that makes this really special is that we partner with our families, we partner with businesses, and most importantly, we partner with the communities in which our students live to provide a uniquely affordable Catholic college preparatory curriculum and innovative work study program. At the end of the day, we are focused on making sure that our students become women and men of integrity, faith, tenacity, and purpose. The unique thing about DePaul Christ Ray is that we promise our students that we'll be with them for 8 years. Unlike most high schools that are with students for the duration of their high school, their 9th through 12th grade experience, we are with our students all 8 years of their college and high school careers. As I mentioned earlier, our focus is making sure that our students have a college preparatory curriculum, that they get that general high school experience, that they have incredible college counseling and guidance, and that there's experiential learning and unique programs that our students can participate in. This year, we've been able to provide our students with the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. virtually free of charge. That is something that is unlike many high schools where students are and families are expected to pay for their student to attend a school trip of that sort. We're also in the process of developing a Toronto study abroad program and a Tanzania study abroad program. So coupled with what we're doing every day on a daily basis academically, we're trying to get our students out into the world so that they can see what the world has to offer them. As I already mentioned, our 8-year promise also includes our CWSP placement or corporate work study program. That again is a paid and funded placement that all of our students are expected to participate in their career at DePaul Christ Ray. In those placements, they get to explore various careers, develop new skills, and most importantly, develop that professional etiquette that will make them the professionals that will stand out against their peers in other markets. Most importantly, though, we really focus on the mentorship and support that business owners provide our students within these corporate work study placements. And lastly, one thing that is part of our 8-year promise is the affordable education that DePaul Christ Ray offers its families. Our families contribute only 1% of our total operating revenue, which is unheard of in most high schools that are private or charter. We're blessed to be able to provide our students with an academic education that is virtually, again, free of charge. With generous donors, partners, and resources that have been available to us for their educational purposes, we're able to cover all program costs for our students. I always like to say that a DePaul Christ Ray student sets the bar. They're seen as dedicated. They partner with local businesses, as we've already mentioned. They're committed to meeting the expectations of every senior every year as they get accepted to college. But most importantly, they are the responsible change makers. We know that our students are coming back to Cincinnati in greater numbers to pour into the city of Cincinnati as professionals. And that pipeline of talent is growing each and every day. One of the hallmarks of who we are as an institution, as I mentioned earlier, well, actually, I'll talk about our students and our gift first. Our students, we have about 292 students in our community. 81% of them are non-Catholic Christian, and we have a predominantly female organization. So 70% of our student body are female. 32 zip codes are represented in our student body, while 64% of our students are from public or charter schools. As I mentioned, our families have a very limited income. So on average for a family of 4, our families are earning around $35,000 a year. As I mentioned earlier, all of our students receive financial assistance to attend DePaul Christ Ray, and we are a school that is predominantly for students of color. 66% of our student body is African American, while 28% is Hispanic or Latinx. And our students for 8 years in a row have had 100% college acceptance annually. The great thing about the work that we're doing at DePaul Christ Ray is our students are defying the odds, and our college graduation rate is 2 times the national average for students in our demographic area. The last thing that I want to hallmark today, because I know that time is running near, is our corporate work study experience. And this is where you as business owners or employees of various businesses can get engaged. As I mentioned, our students work in nonprofit and corporate environments every day of the school year. And these students are seen as employees of DePaul Christ Ray, but simultaneously externs or interns in your organizations. We at DePaul make it really easy for you to be a partner to engage in our corporate work study program. We handle all the payroll, legal, and taxes that are involved in having students as employees during the work week. We also provide our students with transportation to and from their work environments. We also provide lunches for students, and we are are focused on ensuring that the partnership between both the organization and the school is both unique and mutually beneficial for everyone. We want our students to exceed in the jobs that you have provided for them, and we want you to be a good friend and a great champion of DePaul Cristo Rey. Our students have worked in a variety of industries, everywhere from education and accounting to religious services to suppliers and technology. So our students are in every industry you can think of, and they're doing incredible things for businesses around the greater Cincinnati area. And what those specific tasks may be, you may be wondering. They come in all different shapes and sizes as well. And our students have done everything from receptionist duties to answering phones, distributing mail, to actually auditing reports in human resource departments. We have students that are working to do research, examining potential candidates for various positions and organizations. We have students that have supported interior designers and creating concepts for external clients. We've seen our students do data entry. We've seen them help in litigation services, organizing files and purging files. You name it, our students can do it. And we do the best that we can to ensure that they are placed in the right organization with the right work that will help you do what you need to get done. We're so grateful for the Chamber. The Chamber has been a partner for our corporate work study program for many years. And we do have students that are placed in their offices this year. So I know Brendan and Thomas and the entire team can speak to just the work that DePaul Cristo Rey students have done in those spaces. If you are interested in being a partner for next school year, feel free to reach out to me here at DePaul Cristo Rey. We say that you are investing in a higher standard. We believe that when you pour into our students, you're pouring into the city of Cincinnati, both now and in the future, because our students will become that future pipeline of talent for you and your organization. Again, we just thank you for giving us the opportunity, Brendan and Thomas and Jill, for being here this morning to share a little bit more about DePaul Cristo Rey.
Siobhan, thank you. I think you need to change the one slide, the third one from the back, when you say different industries, and add chambers of commerce, because we do value that partnership, and we have 2 students from Cristo Rey here at the Chamber, and they're a delight and they're great to work with. Siobhan, you started out today by saying that you wanted to share your heart. That was your very first sentence. I think you had us all hooked right there, and that's why DePaul Cristo Rey is so successful, because not only are you sharing your heart, you're also setting the bar for those students, and that comes across clearly. Thank you for your time today, and thank you for making a difference for those young youth in our region. We appreciate it. Thank you, Siobhan.
Thank you, Thomas.
I want to thank Siobhan for being part of our monthly briefing. If you're interested in taking part of our monthly member briefing, please reach out to me at thomastdeer@cincinnatiChamber.com. Next up, I want to talk to one of our benefit partners. I'm excited to have Barry McDaniel, the risk consultant from Sheakley, who's our workers' comp partner. Sheakley is a legacy partner with the Chamber, and they assist employers in navigating and simplifying this many complexities of risk management. Their comprehensive results-oriented solutions are designed to create and maintain a culture of workplace safety that's going to reduce your overall costs, minimize the frequency and severity in claims, and ensure complete compliance. Barry, welcome. And if you don't mind, I want to ask you a couple questions, because I've been hearing about MCO and TPA. Can you tell me the difference between MCO and TPA?
Okay. In its simplest form, they focus on 2 different things. So the TPA, your third-party administrator, is 100% focused on the financial health and well-being of the employer. So it's all about managing claims, looking for programs, looking for ways to reduce the cost of claims, et cetera, to the employer. The MCO is 100% focused on the physical health and well-being of an injured employee. So this is, nurses and case managers to get the people the treatment they need, to get them back to health.
Barry, can I just select an MCO at any time, or is there a timeline on this?
I think you've been hearing the belly aching. The BWC only allows companies to select their MCO. They open it up 1 month every 2 years. So this is the month. It's May of 2023. The last one was May of 2021, and the next one will be May of 2025. So now the thing is, since the employer doesn't pay the MCO directly, the MCO is paid through the BWC. So it's a matter of selecting, who you want to work with.
Well, that leads to my next question.
Mm-hmm.
I know the answer, but tell us why should someone choose Sheakley's MCO?
Okay. Let me start off and tell you, every single MCO does a fantastic job. Okay. First and foremost, there used to be 48 MCOs in the state, and now there's only 10 of us left. The state has a lot of standards that MCOs have to hit, a lot of metrics. The one thing I would say with Sheakley's MCO is the BWC just released data, and Sheakley is the #1 MCO for what they call first report of injury. We are the only MCO that averages less than 1 business day for first report of injury. The reason that's important is that the quicker that first report of injury goes, that's when everything starts. That's when you can get them into the treatment, get them back to health and back to work. So it's a win-win when an MCO does the quickest job they can. And of course, that 1 day, if that's ever the difference between 7 and 8 days of someone being off of work, if it goes to 8 days, there's a whole lot of other unsettling things that can happen besides your rates going up, extra reserves being put on your policy, but also typically that becomes officially a lost time claim. And a lot of times that can bring a visit from our friends over at OSHA. Nothing against OSHA, they do a great job, but you don't want to be in their spotlight, we'll say.
Great. Hey, let me ask you one more question. And
yeah.
This is getting away from the MCO.
Okay.
I heard you talk at the manufacturing summit. I was in another conversation, but you're talking about a drug-free workplace enrollment. And so I didn't get all of it. Can you enlighten me a little bit on that? I didn't know Sheakley was involved with that.
Okay, drug-free, and yeah, it used to be called drug-free workplace. I still use the term because everyone else does, but about 10 years ago, it went to drug-free safety program. And quite honestly, a lot of people left the program because the discounts, they cut back on the discounts 10 years ago. But on top of it, there's a lot of different dates that you have to hit and things that have to be done at certain times. And people are like, I just don't need that many things on my calendar, more things on my have-to-do list. So that there are ways that we can manage it. So typically when we work with someone, we keep them on track. We'll partner with them and we'll do all their paperwork that we're allowed to do. And it will help them with anything that we're not allowed to do for them. So there's different levels. There's a comparable level, which is the most basic that a lot of construction companies are in, because you have to be at least at that level to even bid for work if it's public work. And the BWC just announced that moving forward, they're going to require more in the comparable level. And they're going to also audit it more because a lot of people were cutting corners on the already easy path that they had with that program.
Well, Barry, this has been great. I'm going to get you back on to another one of these calls because I got more questions for you. But so we're going to reschedule you again. But I want to be very clear to everybody. I've seen the savings that our members, that you receive from participating in the partnership with Sheakley, and the amounts are they're astounding.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, when you partner with Sheakley, your risk gets transformed into your reward. And it costs you nothing to pick up the phone, to give Barry and Sheakley a call to find out how you can start saving money. And Barry, thank you. Thank you, Sheakley, for your partnership. If you're looking to reach out to Barry, you can reach out to me and we'll get you connected. You can reach out to any of the sales team members, Beth, Monty, McLean, and myself, and we'll get you connected.
One more thing about drug-free.
Yes.
There are alternative funds available that pay people, even if they're not in the official program. So some people are like saying, you know what, I want to update my policy because we used to do this. I want to change it to this. I want to strengthen it, or I just want to do supervisor training for reasonable suspicion. I want to train. I'm going to have employee education one time. There's money available for dollar reimbursements, and in a lot of cases, we even get people reimbursed for drug tests that they do. So you maybe what you're doing already, even outside the official program, you can still be reimbursed for.
Wow.
So.
Good. Great. Thank you, Barry. Great information. Do you have any questions for Barry? Please, again, let one of us know in sales and we'll make sure we get you connected with Barry. Very appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Next, joining us is our very own Sean Comer, the Vice President of the Leadership Center. Knowing business leaders play a key role in the strength and future of our region, Sean and his team have best-in-class leadership programs to help you train, coach, to develop civic-minded leaders throughout the region. And they'll also get you connected to leaders at other organizations. Sean, catch us up on all the great things you guys are working on.
Thanks, Thomas, and great to be here this morning to talk about the Leadership Center and the programs that we offer. The Chamber has been running leadership programs going back almost 50 years now, when Leadership Cincinnati was launched in 1977. But what started as a program focused for senior executives in organization now includes an entire center that delivers a full suite of leadership programs that try to meet people where they're at in their career. We offer pathways for individuals and organizations to invest in their growth, whether you've just moved to Cincinnati or whether you've spent your entire career here. Right now, we are accepting applications for two of our longest running programs. Leadership Cincinnati, which has again been around for almost 50 years. Brendan mentioned at the top of the program, our immersive civic engagement program for C-suite, for senior executives, experience-based, help establish leaders, gain better understanding of our region, but also build stronger connections between each other. That program is accepting applications until May 17th. Additionally, we lead a leadership development program for women that focuses on the whole person, that allows people greater space to invest in themselves by engaging them with other high-achieving women, developing strategic goals, and building strong relationships and networks. A program that also accepts applications until May 17th. I think no matter what program you engage with here at the Chamber, we try to make sure that they lay the foundation for lifelong relationships, that they create space for our region's talent to reflect on and enhance their approach to leadership, and also root leaders deeply in this community. What started 50 years ago was the idea that we need to make sure that we have a deep and wide bench of leaders who are ready, not only within their organizations, but also for civic leadership beyond their organizations. And we try to do that with programs that reach people early, in the middle, and throughout their career.
Great, Sean. Thank you for all you do for developing leaders in the region. Well done. I got to tell you guys, if you haven't had a chance to meet Sean, he's relatively new. At least he's been here at least a year. But take the time, meet him. He's a complete superstar, does a great job here, and his team is terrific. So thank you.
Thanks, Thomas.
Lastly, I want you to know about some upcoming events. First of all, we have our Greater Cincinnati Safety Council meeting next Wednesday at Ensemble Health. I hear there's food trucks there. I encourage you to get your safety folks out to it. May 11th will be our Diversity in STEM Session 4, Innovation of Today and Tomorrow. 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. at the UC Digital Futures Building. I've seen the lineup. It's incredible. You need to make time. And if you haven't been to one, you need to be there. May 16th is our Hello Cincy Social Hour from 5:30 to 7:30 in person at the Kinley Hotel. And then May 17th is our Cincinnati Blend Coffee and Connections. It'll be our second meeting at the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. It's amazing to see all those great things that are happening at the museum. Also, our next monthly member briefing, put it on your schedule, it'll be June 1. And we look forward to seeing you there. But there's one thing I also want to mention is I want you to join Alfonso Cornejo and our partners at the Hispanic Chamber at Fountain Square this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and celebrate Cincy Cinco Latin Festival. It's this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at Fountain Square, and I guarantee you it'll be fun, and I know it's going to be delicious. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and may the 4th be with you.